Hello everyone, welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. I'm a little bit sick, so please excuse my voice, and if I'm coughing somewhere in the middle, that's why. So, today, remember last week I said we're kind of not going to look at premium ships anymore because we've done that quite a bit, and we're going to actually start looking at something else. Well, a lot of people were requesting in the comments that I'm going to start looking at the HMS Hood, the British Tier 7 Premium Battlecruiser, or fast battleship, depends on, which is in the shop right now. And initially, I didn't want to get the Hood. I had a look at the statistics and I figured, nah, this is really not the ship that I would get. I mean, I'm not a battleship main anyway, and I got heaps of premium battleships already. And then I was starting to write a response to another comment that was requesting the Hood, explaining why I wasn't going to get her. And then I realized this is actually an interesting ship. Well, she certainly doesn't look easy to play, but she does look interesting. She might be fun to play. She doesn't look overpowered, but she looks fun. So I figured, okay, challenge accepted. That's why today we're looking at the Hood. The Hood. The real Hood is rather infamous for being blown up by the Bismarck with a shot that penetrated the magazine most likely, and that made her explode, and that made the British very unhappy. And she got lost with almost all hands. I think there were about 3 survivors. So before that, I mean, she's not just famous for that, but before that, the Hood was built in the First World War, and she was one of the most powerful British battleships at the time. She got refitted for the Second World War. But the main guns are still from that time, and she isn't the most heavily armored ship out there, but she was kind of something of the pride of the British Navy at the time. So that was a big blow for them, and they did a lot of there was a lot of research and investigations going on to these things. So what does she look like in the game? Well, she has 50,000 hit points. That's a large health pool. That's almost as much as the Tirpitz in Tier 8, and probably as much as the stock Yamato in Tier 10. Well, she needs these 50,000 hit points urgently, because her armor is really, really not great. She has barely more than cruiser armor, and she is not the most well-protected battleship out here. So, with that, what does she have going for her? Well, for once, she's fast. In fact, she's actually, I think, faster than the Gneisenau, the fastest Tier 7 battleship so far. And she has a okay turn time for that speed, really. I think the heavy battleships from the US and Japanese Tech Tree at Tier 7 turn in about 15 seconds. She is not as maneuverable as, say, the Warspite at Tier 6, but she's not totally sluggish at all. So, relatively lightly armored battleship, fast battleship. Well, she was a battle cruiser / fast battleship. They were never quite sure what she was going to be. I'd say she definitely is a battleship. She plays like a battleship, but she kind of also plays a little bit like a cruiser, which is what got me interested in her in the first place. Now let's get to the guns, and here is one of the initial reasons I was kind of not interested in her. Because these are almost exactly the same guns as the Warspite has. Now, these 380mm guns at Tier 6 with the Warspite are monstrous. And she also has 8 of them. I think the only difference here is that they have a bit of a better range, and they probably have a bit of better accuracy at range. But other than that, there's still 8 380mm guns. The Gneisenau has 6 of them, but the Gneisenau is a brawler ship. This is not a brawler. She's not particularly heavily armored. She's a long-range ship by the looks of it. So, she has a good range, 13.5 kilometers. But the American and Japanese ships at this tier, the Nagato, has has 400mm guns, which do more damage, have a good range as well, and they have better secondaries. Also, the turret traverse speed with 4.5 degrees is relatively low. It's usually 5 degrees, so her turrets really turn very sluggishly. Secondaries, okay, she has a fair amount of them, but they're 102mm. 7-second reload, 5.4 kilometer range. They do almost no damage. So against other battleships, you do what, like 90 damage with these things on high explosive non-penetrations. You have a bit of a chance of setting fire, okay, given, but she doesn't have the monstrous high explosive damage from the Nelson, who has 400 plus millimeter guns at tier 7, the other British premium, but she has basically the Warships guns at tier 7, and you have to pit these against tier 8 battleships because you're at tier 7 at this point. So she doesn't have a huge amount of firepower. She's fast, she's relatively maneuverable, good health pool, but weakly armored and not much firepower. Anti-aircraft is interesting because these she also doesn't get the auto secondaries. So for example, on the Warspite, right, these 102mm secondaries that are the manual secondaries on the hood, they are auto secondaries, and you get the 150mm manual secondaries, which you can use against destroyers to great effect. On the hood, not so much. They double up as anti-aircraft guns, I believe, which is why she gets a rather large amount of anti-air, especially on a small caliber. But a small caliber has only a 1.5 kilometer range, so by that time you're not going to shoot all that much down anymore. But look at the ship skills. This is interesting. She does get the precise aiming system, but she does get the precise aiming system too. And I think this is usually just something that comes up in like tier 9 or something. I'd have to check that, but certainly not something I usually see at around tier 7. So what does this do? It increases the accuracy by 35% for 20 seconds. And she gets 3 consumables of this. Plus she gets the level 2 anti-air defense alert as well, which just basically doubles your damage for 20 seconds. So what does that tell us? She is weakly armored, she's fast. She has okay guns, but nothing spectacular. You get precision and you get anti-air. So she's a loner, she's a hunter, and she's a range attacker. This is not a close range ship. She doesn't have what the Gneisenau does, who has torpedoes and murderous secondaries. She doesn't get that. So this is more of, I think this is conceptualized more of a sniper ship. And like an she's fast, so you can position in places where people don't expect you and flank, which is something I really like doing. And this gets me to why I actually decided to get her in the end, because that kind of sounds fun. So, elite bonus. I could have gone with torpedo damage reduction, but you know these plus 10%, you know that they're measured in percentages, right? So if you look at that, she gets 13.36 torpedo damage reduction at this point. I think it's 12% on the base. And you don't get like 23% with the plus 10%. You get 10% of that percentage on top. So here it would have been 1.3% extra. So I figured, nah, I'm going to go with more hit points, especially that she's got a good base hit points, a bit more anti-air, because you might be focused down by carriers, and you still get 5% torpedo damage reduction, so that's not bad. The equipment, oh, excuse me for a second, yes, thank you, thanks game, yep, nope. The equipment, I've set her up a little bit different. I would have liked to take the precision mod, but you can't get that at tier 7, so it's not available. The turret traverse doesn't make much sense at 4.5 degrees base traverse, and so I decided to go with the main battery reload modification. It might give us, it's only 5%, but she gets a 21-second base reload, not the 19 seconds that the German ships get with the 380mm guns. and the German ships have better armor piercing. So I figured I'm going to need more reload. Anything secondary spec wouldn't have made sense either. I have decided not to go with my usual damage control for the second slot, but actually go with the acceleration, because the ship's really fast. So I want to reinforce this and want to abuse this and want to kind of be able to push quickly into positions. And that's also why I've not gone with the torpedo defense mod on the second slot, but with the propulsion mod to get even more speed. So, is that working? Sometimes. She plays a lot like the Gneisenau without having the Gneisenau's brawler potential. So you gotta be even more careful what positions you get yourself into. She doesn't always work. I'm gonna give you that. She is not a Tirpitz level overpowered just monster. She has strengths and weaknesses, and the way I play her is fun, but there are times when I'm just getting shot down instantly, and they're just not gonna get anywhere with it. But still, it's fun. You can flank, and you can just show up in places nobody expects you. You can do glorious, great things, and I like crazy plays, so that's why I went with this. In terms of supplies, I've got the improved crow rations for better reload, standard battleship loadout, the maintenance pack, and the refined diesel for even more ship speed. The commander, and I realized that all the British battleships are actually premiums. So you can switch commanders between premiums for free. So I didn't have to actually use one of my British commanders. I can just switch him around between the Hood and the Warspite. The Nelson gets her own commander because the Nelson eventually needs the high explosive skill. But the Hood and the Warspite can perfectly well share a commander. So he's just at level 5 at this point. But artillery maintenance is kind of a no-brainer. I could have almost gone with preheating, but you get found out pretty quickly. The victorious charge for HP recovery, the survivalist for HP recovery, and that's kind of going to be the setup. One thing I think that is going to be really important for this ship, because if you do long range shots, you need accuracy, and the guns are not that accurate, is the marksman skill at tier 7. So that's something I'm really, really looking forward to, which should allow, with the 19-second reload, if I'm not mistaken, from the German battleships, this will allow 2 salvos of main batteries with the precise aiming activated. Currently I only get 1. So that's an important thing. And then eventually, obviously, the Warspite and the Hood need to go for the improved armor piercing, whereas the Nelson's going to go for the improved high explosive penetration. Did I forget something? I feel like I forgot something. Yes, the camo. Sorry. Let's go back to the camo. Camo. Camouflage. More ship hit points. Yes, please. More range. Yes, please. Better dispersion. Yes, please. Because we are planning to shoot from a distance. And torpedo damage reduction. Always welcome. And she gives silver and XP bonus as well. So that's the package. That's the package you can get from the shop and for the premium package. I was really curious because we don't really have that many battlecruisers in the game, and I'm on the fence here between fast battleship and battlecruiser. She definitely does have the health, but she doesn't really have the armor, and she doesn't have the firepower, especially at close range. But yeah, I like it. I like her for being different. Let me put it this way. So let's give this a try, and let's see how this can go either well or horribly, horribly wrong. Okay, there's a carrier play. We've got a Bismarck, a Richelieu, and a Carguero, and a couple of cruisers and another Colorado. On our side, Tirpitz, that's good. Hopefully they know what they're doing. And a Benson. Okay. We don't want to get near that destroyer if we can avoid it. Well, we're playing Bay of Storms. So one thing we can do with this battleship is we can actually keep up with our destroyer. And who else do we have with us? That's a cruiser. So not just a bot, not a player. What we can actually do is we can almost keep up with the Benson. Look at the acceleration. I'm already at 30 knots with this thing. I've got cruisers that are not accelerating this fast. So we can actually go a bit wide here. Try to flank around. We're probably going to be the first one spotted, but we can keep up with the destroyer and support the Benson in whatever she's doing. Like against that Takao over there. Okay, precise aiming out. And of course, as soon as I fire, she turns. Also, that's the Bismarck up there, but I want that Takao going first. Oh, there's the Kagero. I think our Benson just overextended a little bit. Not much I can do about the Kagero for now. And I'm gonna try and see if I can do something about the Takao. Come here. I can't really citadel her from this angle easily, even though she's a Japanese cruiser. And of course the Bismarck's opening up at me, so I want to probably avoid that a little bit. And that Kagero is coming uncomfortably close, so let's see that we can deal with this Takao quickly. Yeah, there we go. Because that Kagero is following me uncomfortably close. Okay, we need to get that Takao dead, so we can deal with the rest of the bunch. Okay, Takao is gone. I'm going to try and open up a little bit and get him someone else to shoot at, because heck, that Miyoko over there. The problem, of course, is that I have to swing the turrets around, which is not something this ship's particularly good at. Trying to shoot a destroyer at this distance, by the way, is completely futile. So don't even try. What we're going to do is we're going to open up on the Richelieu and basically head back to our cap and hope that we get some support back there. Okay, non-pens at this distance. I don't even have the guns around. Okay. The Miyoko's dead. The Kagero is hopefully far away enough that I don't have to worry about her. So, let's see. Richelieu is a French battleship, so she's probably pretty quick. Okay, there's the Kagero coming for me. Okay, can I get one more shot off at the Richelieu before I have to worry about the Kagero? Okay, here we go. Okay, I've got armor piercing loaded, so I might as well open up. And then switch over to high explosive. Well, I got one full pen. Okay, let's get her a little bit closer. She set me on fire. Not gonna bother. Let's see if this Kagero knows what she's doing. Okay, I'm slow. I'm a slow battleship. Come fire your torpedoes at me. And speed up. If we're lucky, she fired her torpedoes and completely misjudged. Nope, we're not lucky. She knows what she's doing. Maybe. Let's see. We should be able to outrun these. Yep. Nope. I am way faster and I accelerate way faster than you could have ever expected, my friend. Okay. 2 minutes left. We've got a destroyer, 2 battleships, and a carrier to kill. Okay. Let's switch over to armor piercing, because I could chase this Kagero until the end of days. I can't see him, so I'm gonna go in against the Richelieu and try to support the turrets with anti-air if they come in range.
Enemy aircraft incoming. Anti-aircraft gun on full alert.
Okay. Let's try and do some damage against... Oh, the Bismarck's on full health. Really? Okay. Okay, reverse. Don't want to get any closer to these people.
Precise aim activated.
Heal up.
We're under attack.
Okay. The Kagero is buggering off, so... Torpedoes, it would have been great if you had helped me over here. But maybe if you can kill the carrier, that'll do the trick. I'll hold the fort over here. if you don't mind. Ow, ow. Ow, 2 battleships can't sustain that. It's not for long, but we only have 30 seconds. I can't sink the Richelieu in 30 seconds, no way, so we'll just do what we can. You see that they are not the most accurate guns. They do have a tendency to fall through occasionally. Get one more salvo off. Maybe the Tirpitz can sink the carrier, but I certainly can't sink these people here. And yeah, got some hits in, but that's not enough. Still, we did some decent amount of damage. We had some fun with the Kagero. Destroyers are very, very surprised by the amount of speed and acceleration this thing can put out. Don't even try to dodge torpedoes by turning. Just outrun the bloody things. So, well, yeah, the Richelieu played well. And we just didn't have... Well, we just didn't have enough. So, let's do that again, shall we? Because, you know, I can't let you off on a defeat here. We'll do that again. Okay, encounter. Unusual map for a tier 6 battle, tier 7 battle. With tier 6s in there, but what do we have? Colorado, Nagato, Bayern, Nuremberg. No destroyers. Okay, that's good. She's really not the best ship in dealing with destroyers. Okay, encounter. What can we do here? Let's see who we've got with us. We've got a lot of tier 6s here. So, we've got a Bugioni, so let's support him. Let's see where he's going. I'm going to try and go wide, let these 2 cruisers take point here. I'm going to make sure I'm not overtaking them with this thing. Because my acceleration is actually better. Oh, I'm almost... Or is he AFK? Don't be AFK, please. Okay, let's see what kind of opposition we're facing up here. And let's just get in range. All the way over here. Okay, so we're on the aggressive side, as I call it. Because you've really got these 2 islands there to defend, and not everybody goes and defends these. So it's entirely possible that the enemy team is pushing through the middle, but you know that island that I'm pointing at right now, no one's actually coming around here. So the New Orleans hasn't spotted anyone. Mayhem, I'm not interested. Pensacola, I would be. Once he decides where he wants to turn.
Precise aim activated.
Let's see if we can hit him from here. Yeah, they're not actually coming around. Oh, she's a bit faster than I thought. Okay, that means we can outflank them. Let's turn hard in. I'm just going to ignore this destroyer. It's a bot destroyer anyway. They're not doing that much damage because they don't usually use their torpedoes. Okay. Pensacola. No citadels against the Pensacola. What magic is this? Okay. Well, let's use our secondaries on this guy. I wish I had auto secondaries in this thing. That would be great. They would have just shredded it to bits. So now, you're getting outflanked and potentially capped by a battleship. Of course, in order to deal with this little annoying bugger... Ah, the Bugioni's onto it. Okay. I'm good. You do that. I'll see that I can flank around and deal with these 2 battleships over here. There's a Bayern. Where are you going? Slightly backwards? Yes, you are. Hello?
Good job.
Okay. Now, there's 2 ships down with 1 ship down. This is still very open. But I'm just going to go in their cup. And I'm not just some flimsy destroyer. I'm in a battlecruiser. So that's kind of forcing their hand here, because they need to pull some serious hardware back in order to actually make something happen. And, oh, the Nuremberg's AFK. Okay, I'm unhappy about that, because that's really not a good thing. The other Nuremberg, though, isn't. Wait, where did... What?
Nice shot.
Wait, oh. Are you seeing this? Am I seeing ghosts here? I think there's some weird lag issues happening right now. But there's a Nuremberg that just blinked in and out of existence. Okay, I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen
Precise aim activated.
and deal with this Bayern here. Bayern's a very good ship, also 380mm guns. Can't really, and this is a German ship, so can't really easily get... Okay, there's the Nuremberg again. I think there's something weird going on with that Nuremberg. I'm just going to ignore him for now. She's got good secondaries. Let's see if we can... You see, you don't really do much damage with these 100mm secondaries. They are really more of a nice to have at this point. But maybe we can do some... Yep, the primaries hurt, but we almost got her. Oh, come on! Overpens! Overpens against the battleship! Half pens! Goodness gracious, what is this not madness? Come on, give me one more salvo. We should be able to get... It's just a tier 6 battleship. Okay, we don't want to run out of the cap circle, because we need to keep the threat up. Right. Ah, there we go. Okay, she's down. Yeah, I think that Nuremberg's got connection issues or something, which really is sad because... well, I mean, we won pretty decisively, I'd say. Let's focus on the other Bayern up there. Oh, we capped them out. Okay. So this is the kind of shenanigans you can do in a hood. Obviously, if that Nuremberg hadn't been AFK, I would have actually had to deal with him. It would have been a little bit more difficult. But I wasn't actually really interested in going for the cap. What I really wanted to do, I wanted to pull them out of position. So, you know, the team moves forward and is focused forward and looks at, well, has their guns pointed forward, has their ships pointed forward, and is positioned defensively against the threat coming from the other side of the map. The hood, especially in my setup, is fast and accelerating fast enough to just completely get around it. If you're on the defensive side of this map and you're not defending that island, which basically was what happened here because everybody went middle, I can completely come around you and pull you out of position and make you turn around, make you turn your guns the other way, and then you can get crossfired by the rest of my team from the middle. So even if I die, and I die probably half the time when pulling these kind of stunts, but I can usually pull the enemy team out of position for enough that I can get my team the win if I'm not dying too quickly. Just because you get 2-3 ships focusing on your group, because like you're in the cap circle, you're forcing their hand really. You're forcing them to turn around, to turn their guns around, to come back. Like you've seen that Bayern at the end, right? He was coming back because he was trying to prevent from being capped out, which is the right thing to do. The problem is, in the meantime, he's not shooting at anybody else. So if you have, in my case, the health pool to spare, and a battleship is a threat, you can't sink it that quickly. At a destroyer that Nuremberg wasn't, if he hadn't had connection issues, could have made short work of him. Battleships, a little bit more difficult. Battlecruisers, different story maybe, but still more difficult. So I'm a threat, and I'm forcing the enemy team out of position, and that can give your team the win, because if you've got 3 ships shooting at me, that's 3 ships not shooting at anybody else, and the rest of my team suddenly has more guns pointing that way. So these are kind of things you can do with say the Gneisenau or with a fun ship like this. So, verdict: the hood. Is she worth it? I'm not sure. She's a fun ship, and again I can pull similar shenanigans in a Gneisenau as well. She turns better than the Gneisenau, which is great. She is faster than the Gneisenau, which is great. And I didn't have to put anything into steering mods. So she's fun to play. Right? Don't get me wrong. She's fun to play. She's not overpowered by any means. She's not your traditional battleship. I think if once I get the commander skills up to the marksman, I might be able to do some more of the sniping, but as it stands, without the precision booster, you're just not gonna have reliable hits, even on cruisers at range. I've tried. I can hit battleships at range relatively reliably with kind of like 4, 5, 6 out of 8 shots. Cruisers, even if they're broadsiding, excuse me, at range is really hard to hit. unless you have the precision booster in, then it becomes a better thing. So she's an interesting ship to play. She's not overpowered, and if you already have a premium battleship or a premium tier 7, I don't think she's necessary for everybody to have. She's no Tirpitz at all, or no Nelson, but she's fun to play in her own way, in her own unique way. And, you know, she's the HMS Hood, so whenever you see a Bismarck, run. That's it for today, and promise, no more premium ships next week. I'm going to do something else. All right? So, no matter how many people are going to ask me, oh, can you play the latest premium ship that Wargaming has put on? No. Maybe after that, but next week we'll do something else. So, that's it for today. I'll see you all next week. Bye.